Having Trump not only have had the codes, but now having the classified information for Americans and being able to put that out and share it in his resort with anyone and everyone who comes through should be terrifying to all Americans. And he needs to be stopped. And he needs to be shot. And he needs to be shot.
Hey, what's going on, guys? So I got one for you. As the title may have seen, I've got videos that as evidence that I'm going to have attached, other things that are attached. So please hang on. I know average time span is maybe about 2 minutes and 30 seconds, but please watch some of these videos because it's going to be evidence of what I'm talking about. And what I'm talking about today, based on the headline, is, are the Democrats trying to get Trump eliminated? Now, we've seen that he has had two now potential assassination attempts. One that actually shot at him, hit his ear. The other one that was staged and set up and ready to get him. There's a whole story going around about that with the Roth or whatever the guy's name is, right? The big Democrat extremist Ukraine guy. Anyway, there's two. Now, as you see some of these clips and you look at some of these things that I've uploaded, here's the thing. Both parties in general are leading and scaring the country with kind of fear tactics. I know the Democrats like to say that it's the Republicans that are doing the fear tactics, but they're both doing the fear tactics by far. But I believe from what I've seen, the Democrats are basically the ones that are really, shall I say, the rhetoric, the word that they use, calling for violence without calling for violence, if you understand what I mean. So how it works in this world is, as a figure, as a leader, as a influencer, someone of higher status, when they come out and say things based on what they say, there's folks out there going to listen, man. And there's people you don't even know, you never heard about. They're going to take some of those things, and they're going to take some of those things literally. Like, something's got to happen. And they sit around, they got that extremist feeling. Now, you take Roth, for example, right? There's that extremeness side of him. I understand what it's like. All my AMC guys and gals, you know what that was like. I know I was an extremist big time when it came to AMC, right? I was just dead set that the Wall Street was pulling this over on us. I mean, everything that I did to fight back against it, to try to get folks to stand up so we could stop it from happening to us, right? That was an extreme way. I came out of nowhere. No one knew who I was, right? Well, I heard it obviously through other people, through other influencers, through groups, and it just grew, and I decided to be extremist for AMC, naked shorting, and all the issues, right? Well, you don't think that there's folks out there or people out there that are not listening to what they're saying? And we have seen a lot of these Democrats, even Kamala Harris, even Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Diane, or was it Feinstein? The other chick, what's her face? It drives me nuts. AOC, like the list goes on and on and on. And in the language that they're using, I mean, literally, you're going to hear on this video some of the stuff. Like, how can you not expect something bad to come from it? If you're going to use that kind of language and you're going to speak that way to the 400 million people out there, you don't think there's going to be some extremist that can say, well, it wasn't my fault. I had nothing to do with it. And that's the biggest cop-out I've ever seen. Your language is everything. What you say, how you say it, is what leads to it as an instigator. And it's funny because they still go after Donald Trump for what he said about follow me. You know, J6, if you really look back, what did he say about follow me? But he's the one that told, and he didn't, but supposedly he's the one that told them all to attack and do what they did. The mob mentality, the crowd, right? They blamed him. The Democrats blame him for that crap. But they're not taking accountability, nor are they taking responsibility for what they have been saying and what they continue to say, which pretty much when you listen to his videos and you see some of this stuff, you're going to be blown away if you haven't already seen it. They obviously want him dead. They want Donald Trump gone. I mean, whatever it takes to see that man not make office. That's how desperate they are.
We have an obligation to make sure, and I certainly will, do whatever it takes to make sure Donald Trump isn't anywhere close to the Oval Office.
And in that language, they are freaking scaring Americans out there that are like, holy smokes, we can't go through 4 years of Donald. He's going to completely destroy our country. He has to be eliminated. Biden said it, put him in the crosshairs. There's so many things that have been said.
Called your opponent an existential threat on a call a week ago. You said it's time to put Trump in the bullseye. There's some dispute about the context.
I didn't say crosshairs. I was talking about focus on. Look, the truth of the matter was, what I guess I was talking about at the time was, there was very little focus on Trump's agenda.
Yeah, the term was bullseye.
It was a mistake to use the word. I didn't say crosshairs. I meant bullseye. I meant focus on him. Focus on what he's doing. Focus on his policies. Focus on the number of lies he told in the debate. Focus. I mean, there's a whole range of things that, look, I'm not the guy that said I want to be a dictator on day one. I'm not the guy that refused to accept the outcome of the election. I'm not the guy who said that wouldn't accept the outcome of this election automatically. You can't only love your country when you win.
That's how desperate they are. They do not want to see him office. Well, if they're that desperate, you think the people listening and the ones that are believing in them aren't that desperate too? Why do you think we have this happening? And it was funny, I'll have this included, but Elon Musk sent out that tweet about it. No one's trying to go after Kamala or anybody on that side. Isn't that kind of weird? But they keep going after Trump? Well, it just shows us on the right aren't extremists like that. We're not that crazy. We're not going to go shoot people, I guess, right? But he brought up a good point. Well, now they're after him. FBI and them, or Homeland Security, whoever it is, wants to investigate Trump. Wants to investigate Elon for that because he went out to how many millions beyond millions of people by stating that? So is there going to be an extremist on the right? You get what I'm saying? Like, how does that affect people? And then we got old Hillary Clinton, you're going to love it in here, talking about basically silencing you and I on social media. And if you say something that is inaccurate, misleading, misinformation, or you republish something that you believed was true and turns out to be false, she's talking about prosecution and jail time, man.
Boosting Trump back in 2016. But I also think there are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda. And whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrent.
You see what I'm saying? Taking away free speech.
He has lost his privileges and it should be taken down. And the bottom line is that you can't say that you have one rule for Facebook and you have a different rule for Twitter. The same rule has to apply, which is that there has to be a responsibility that is placed on these social media sites to understand their power. They are directly speaking to millions and millions of people without any level of oversight or regulation. And that has to stop.
But here's the thing. If you stop and think about it, Donald Trump's not going to destroy America. Okay, we're going to have an America 4 years from now when he gets out of office, okay? Same thing with Kamala. Let's be real. She's not going to, destroy the country and we're going to disappear. I know they're talking about she has the nuclear codes and they're trying to say Donald has a nuclear codes. Well, freaking Biden has a nuclear codes and the dude don't know his ass from a hole in the ground. And here we are. We survived. The country's still here. So all this crazy rhetoric and scaring people, it ain't going to go anywhere if either one gets in office. What's going to happen is the ones on the left or the right, or the ones on the left, if the left gets in the office, right, they're going to continue down their woke policies, their woke processes, and continue to change America, to push America to their way of thinking. That's how it works. And a lot of those policies and their way of thinking do affect us financially, do affect our economy, do affect you and I. But that's where their mindset is. And over here on the right, if they can win it back, that's why they say make America great again, they can go back to their conservative processes, the things that they're used to. People want to shake shit up and change it. People want to go back to what it was and continue to be successful. La-di-da-da. If you know what the Republicans' normal policies are and what they want and what the left wants, that's where the battle lies. It's not going to destroy our country. It's just going to send us farther down a path that guys like me and maybe a lot of my viewers don't want to go, down this woke path. But if Kamala said it, you all need to be woke. So here we go. I got 7 minutes of you. If you've been watching, check out these videos.
Realia Committee Vice Chair Liz Cheney appeared at the Texas Tribune Fest over the weekend. What did she have to say about her future plans?
Yeah, and Peter and I were lucky enough to attend that festival as well and have some conversations, but Cheney was the keynote here. What we're watching her do in this post-primary reality where it's clear that she is leaving Congress, we're watching her sort of create this blueprint for what it will look like to be a Cheney-style Republican in a Trumpian era for the Republican Party. She's laying out the metric, too, that she's willing to campaign for Democrats if she has to. Here's more of what she said about that. Listen.
We have an obligation to make sure, and I certainly will, do whatever it takes to make sure Donald Trump isn't anywhere close to the Oval Office. I'm going to make sure Donald Trump, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure he's not the nominee. And if he is the nominee, I won't be a Republican.
And I don't understand why it's so difficult for the press to have a consistent narrative about how dangerous Trump is. The late, great journalist Harry Evans, one time said that, journalists should, really try to achieve objectivity. And by that, he said, I mean, they should cover the object. Well, the object in this case is Donald Trump. His demagoguery, his danger to our country and the world, and stick with it.
It is just unquestionable at this point that man cannot see public office again. He is not only unfit, he is destructive to our democracy, and he has to be eliminated. He has to be eliminated.